A post from r/WeightLossAdvice by Supersus says, "What made you finally decide to lose weight?" Honestly, I'm getting closer and closer to the point where I'm just done with my current weight. My legs rubbed against each other all day, and I ended up with the most painful chafing rash. My problem is simply making time to work out every day. There's just something more fun I could be doing. Lady Longtome says, "I'm just tired of being so dang uncomfortable all the time." JustJoe702 says, "I was tired of having a muffin top and living in yoga pants and stretchy shorts. I lost 25 pounds and I'm back in everything that was too tight and altering all of my newer clothes to fit." HeavyRip586 says, "I'm saying this in the nicest possible way. If you are overweight and not enjoying yourself in your body, do something about it. What's exciting is fitting into clothes, sitting in chairs that fit, the no huffing and puffing to put socks on, not getting looks from people passing you because, you're overweight. All this has to come from you wanting to change. Losing weight can be a year plus of hard work and doing things you don't want to do. It's an investment into yourself." Downtown Survey 6568 says, "My clothes don't fit. I can't move well. Going on a walk right now." Unraveled Ultraviolet says, "I had been struggling with my weight for years. 2 years ago I had a personal trainer but was not watching my food and I did not lose any weight. Then I sliced my thumb on a can while cooking Christmas dinner and needed stitches in my finger. While healing, I sprained my ankle and stopped going to the gym. I got married, switched birth control and gained 15 pounds. I was lying awake at night crying. I went on a work trip and saw my body in a full-length mirror in a way I don't see myself at home. It hurt my feelings. I would plummet into a depression if my husband hadn't touched me because I had convinced myself he was now repulsed, even though his actions and words said differently. When he did touch me, I would have to only focus on not pushing him off of me. I had convinced myself that if he touched me, he would suddenly notice I was repulsive, and I couldn't handle that. My clothes weren't fitting. I had trouble catching my breath when I walked up the stairs at a museum, and I was crying most nights about it. I got on my scale that I hadn't used in 2 years, saw my weight, and signed up for the HERS weight loss program. I was on it for a few weeks but had an allergic reaction to the antidepressant they give you as an appetite suppressant. I had to stop all medication. But it was an amazing start. In those 2.5 weeks, I had begun drinking 2 litres of water every day, as recommended. I had lowered my Coca-Cola intake. I had switched my mindset. I maintained my weight for a week but was not losing. I then began counting calories and researching weight loss. It has been 75 days. I have lost 19 pounds. I am proud of myself. It doesn't matter what makes you finally decide. Just decide. I started on a Tuesday. I liked that because I didn't wait until a Monday. I just reached my limit and began. It's still a journey, and I am constantly proud of myself. It doesn't matter what makes you decide. It will be a combination. Just decide. Mental Signature 725 asks, "I have a killer Coca-Cola habit. How did you let that go?" Unraveled Ultraviolet answers, "TLDR, if you could calories and think of it like money, you can budget for Coke. Over time, budgeting will be easier as you learn what you can substitute or modify and what you want as the real thing. Even though you might do it out of self-hatred, eventually you will hopefully begin to love yourself. If you're miserable, it's not sustainable and that doesn't help you at all. Prioritize joy. You don't have to stop drinking Coke. You can just drink a little less. I would drink it a minimum of 1 day. I've drunk it every day since I was about 16. I am 30 now. When I started counting calories, it was really, really hard. Luckily, with my ADHD, I can eat the same thing basically every day, no problem. Coke brings me great joy. I don't have many other vices, I don't drink, smoke, or do any drugs. I drink Coca-Cola, and it makes me happy. I have gone through phases. I have tried nearly every diet soda known to man, and they all repulsed me. To be fair, an occasional Fresca is nice, but I don't like fake sugar at all. That has meant that on this weight loss journey, I have to take the hit. I will drink the real Coke. I will bake with or put real brown sugar in my oatmeal. I have had to center my happiness. Counting calories has been a huge learning curve. I count every single thing. I eat 3 Skittles at work. I Google the calories. Because that's how you overeat in secret. And don't know, I've seen some people compare calories to money. It's all about how you spend them. I have had days where I spend them too quickly, and then I'm grumpy and hungry. I had a lot more days of that in the beginning. Every 3-ish days, I will have a Coke, and it is the best thing I have ever had in my life. And I enjoy that, shamelessly now. At first, when I started drinking more water, I was making this sweet tea at home that was delicious. I looked up the calories but accidentally. Just looked at the carbs and thought it had substantially less sugar. It does have substantially less sugar. But it came down to a budgeting issue, and I would rather budget my calories for one Coke as opposed to 2 glasses of sweet tea. It's over this 2.5 months. I've actually come to enjoy water more. My husband does all those squeezy flavour thins, but it's not really my jam. I think if you're into them, they are a super good way to replace that sugar hit. Nothing does it for me like a Coke. First, I concentrated on upping my protein. More protein keeps you satiated longer. Now, I'm also trying to expand the ways I up my protein, and I'm looking into supplements. I found that I like the Fairlife milks the best. I also just bought samples of clear protein from like 4 different companies to try as a nice morning drink. I don't drink coffee. I think if I did, it would be awesome. There are so many companies that have coffee protein powders that you can add to your morning drink to stay satiated longer and still fill that need you have inside. Now, I am concentrating on adding more fibre to my diet and volume eating. Yesterday I made these chickpea blondies, and they are honestly one of the most failing things I've ever consumed. I am a little treat bee. I always have been. I always will be. One of my other favourite treats is the Icelandic Provisions Vanilla Bean Skyer. I buy thick popsicle sticks and eat it with a stick. It's like ice cream. I've always really enjoyed yogurt. My friends that do not like yogurt say it tastes nothing like ice cream, but because it is made with whole milk and is extra creamy, it really checks that box for me. If you don't like yogurt, this probably is not a good hack. Eating the yogurt with the popsicle stick brings me so much joy. This journey for me mainly started with self-hatred. My husband is super fit and lean and strong. I have fears that I will die and leave him alone earlier than necessary. We want to start having kids, and I knew I had to lose the weight before I got pregnant so that I could have a healthier pregnancy. I would be up to keep up with my kids. But the main reason was because I hated myself. I have always hated myself. It's been a few months, but it is starting to transition to love. Do not mind seeing myself fat naked. I don't mind grabbing my stomach rolls because I know that I'm doing what I need to do to put myself in a better position to live the life I want to live. Putting in the actions is making me love myself. When people find out I am on my weight loss journey, the first thing everyone says to me is, "Are you going to stop drink Cokes?" in the most condescending tone, to which my response is, "No, and you can pry them from my cold dead hands." They always scoffed, but I could care less. The times I've wanted to quit is when I have cut the joy out. I'm also a buttered noodles girl. Most alternative pastas I find gross, but protein pasta is fine. There are 10 grams of protein in 1 ounce of fancy parm. So add that with my chicken, and I am happy as a clam. I have also learned you can lose weight by being at a calorie deficit. You can do this by 1, eating less, and 2, moving more, or 3, both. I am trying both, but I'm only counting my deficit from eating less. I don't have much time to work out, and I'm trying to incorporate that little by little. GLP-1s help you eat less. There's nothing wrong with taking them, and if that's what you need, go for it. I would suggest tracking calories so you can see how what you eat makes you feel, or quickly you get hungry. You will learn to adjust accordingly. Because of this, I usually save my Coke for dinner. Eventually, you will learn to enjoy it without shame. I know this is rambly, but I know most weight loss influencers or articles or podcasts are often harsh and unrealistic. I hope this helps. I think if I saw this, it would have helped me. Sonorous Muse says, wanting to be more attractive. I thought that I could somehow transcend my genetics by losing weight, but now I'm just ugly with abs lol. Libby Chick says, I'm 60 pounds above my goal weight, heaviest I've ever been. Fatty liver, crappy pancreas, not yet diabetic. Clothes don't fit, I run out of breath quickly, and I'm constantly fatigued. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs. I also find it very difficult to exercise. I hate my life and I hate what I've become. Still, I love food. It brings me pleasure to eat. And I have apparently no off switch. Menopause screwed my metabolism, and it is very difficult to get any weight off. I do not lose weight at 1400 calories a day, and I find it painful and miserable to go below that. I keep wondering what will be my bottom. When will the pain of obesity exceed the pleasure of food? I've considered asking my physician for the Wellbutrin-naltrexone combination that could reduce the cravings, much the way an alcoholic would utilize naltrexone to stave off alcohol cravings. I am not a candidate for weight loss shots. Thank you for the question. I need to find my answer to it as well. Crazy Girl says, a picture of me at my 21st birthday. I never realized how big I'd gotten until that pic. Prompted me to lose 80 pounds. and have maintained for 15 years. Nobody Intrepid 9356 says, that chafing pain is no joke. It's one of those things that really drives home how much our weight affects daily comfort in ways we don't always think about. The fact that you're recognizing this pattern is actually a huge first step, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. I totally get the time-motivation struggle though. When I was dealing with similar issues, I kept thinking I needed to carve out an hour every day for the gym, which felt impossible with work and everything else. What actually worked for me was starting stupidly small, like 10-minute walks during lunch breaks, or taking stairs instead of elevators. Sounds almost too simple, but those tiny changes started adding up without feeling like I was sacrificing the fun stuff. The trick I learned was to not think of it as working out, but just moving more throughout the day. Even things like parking further away or doing some push-ups while waiting for coffee to brew. Once I stopped putting pressure on myself to have perfect workout routines, it became way easier to stick with. Have you considered trying some of the health apps that gamify movement? Sometimes making it feel more like a game than exercise can help with that something more fun to do issue. The key is finding what doesn't feel like a chore, because sustainable beats perfect every time.